I am thrilled to be sitting here with Chief Guard Ritter himself. Roger, how are you, mate?
Good, Glenn. Good.
That's good. So, for people that are listening and don't know, that was a reference to Turkey Shoot, of course, which is a
Yeah,
movie
yeah,
that you were in. But Roger, we're here to talk about Stone.
yeah,
This movie over the years has had numerous re-releases, from the VHS to the DVD and now finally Blu-ray. Can you
yeah.
believe the longevity of this film?
No, I can't. I mean, I know it's now obvious, but when we did it, no way in the world could I foresee what's happened. No, no.
If someone in 1974 had to come up to you and said, in almost 50 years' time, you'll still be talking about it.
That's right. I can't believe it. No.
And
We must have we made that film in '73, did we? It was released in '74 because
yeah,
I always thought we made it in '72 for some unknown reason. And I was reading some research today, and it said made in '73. And I've always been talking about '72.
well, I guess if you go back even further to when it was first conceived, it would be 50 years old, really.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Incredible. And I guess you've talked about the film ad nauseum over the years, but there are going to be some people reading and listening that have never seen the film. So for their
Yeah.
benefit, can you just talk a little bit about making the film? And I want to know, did you feel like you were making something special at the time?
Well, not really. We in those days we were doing films pretty well every week. We were doing. It wasn't unusual for us to do a film. And when Sandy said, "Well, I'm doing a film. Do you want to be in it?" I said, "Yeah, sure." He said it's a bikey film. I said, "Oh, that's great. I ride motorbikes. I have ridden since I was 17, so no problem." But I said the only catch is I'm working in a theatre at night. He said, "Oh, that's okay. We'll do a few night shoots. You can come out after your theatre, and or just we'll shoot up to when you leave for the theatre. So it was no problem really. We were all on a weekly wage anyway. It didn't matter whether I worked day or night. I had a weekly wage coming in from there. Had a weekly wage from the theatre. So I was happy. I was just making I was an actor and I was making a living. So I really didn't care or know how important the film was going to be. Although I did know it was a good film, but I didn't know it'd have the cult following that it got. No, no way. No.
Absolutely. And one of the cultiest aspects of it was the fact that real Hell's Angels were used during the production. Was that exciting, or was it terrifying, or was it both?
Well, I didn't see, despite the fact that I rode motorbike since I was 17, I had no idea of motorcycle clubs. I'd heard of Hell's Angels, of course, but they didn't affect me one way or the other. I didn't care about them. But when we shot with the Hells Angels, one particular day we did a big scene at the Forth and Clyde Hotel, and all the Hells Angels turned up. Well, all the girls we had bikie moles with us who were models and actresses and so on. And they were going ape shit, Oh my God, look at the bar, they're wonderful. What? That bunch of scruffy looking assholes, what's so wonderful about them? So I got a
Yeah.
bit jealous in a way, I mean, I couldn't win one of the girls over, and yet they were quite prepared to fall at the feet of these filthy guys with straggly hair. So I got angry and walked onto the balcony of the hotel, first floor balcony, and yelled out at the top of my voice to the congregated crowd below, all the Hells Angels are pufters. And there was all the bikers, my bikers, they thought, oh my God, we're going to be kicked to death now, and Wardy's going to end up dead. But the Hells Angels didn't say a word, but the word went out that be careful of the big grave digger, which was me. They
Yeah.
said, be careful, he's dangerous, So they respected me for what I said and what I did. So
Mate,
they,
that's hilarious.
yeah, yeah.
The funny thing when you watch the film, like now, so many years later, is that the motorbikes you guys were riding weren't all that tough. Like,
No.
compared to today's sort of bikey culture.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I would have preferred like a Triumph or a Harley Davidson, but when they got crackers, well, what can you say? You don't argue about it. We got the bikes to use as our own, and we used them for our personal use all the time. Rode to
Yeah.
work on them, and rode everywhere.
Well,
As a matter of fact, we used to meet. Like we'd be located, say, in North Sydney, and we say had to be there at 7 o'clock. So it just happened that we all congregated on the bridge, coming from all the areas of Sydney. We hit the Sydney Harbour Bridge together, and suddenly you see, 10, 15, 20, and all of a sudden there's 20 of us hurtling over the Sydney Harbour Bridge, heading towards the North Sydney. And I remember one morning my speeder didn't work, and I said to Hugh Keys-Byrne, I went up alongside of him. I said, "What are we doing? What speed?" He said, "180." He said, I said, "My God, on the Sydney Harbour Bridge, we're doing about 90 mile an hour. That was kilometres." So
Yeah.
we
Oh,
had a lot of fun
incredible.
and games. Yeah. Mm.
And the film, I believe, if I read correctly, Sandy adapted the script from a TV cop drama episode. Um, that's what I read, and that
Yeah.
I think he's quite a trailblazer, and it's almost a crime against cinema that he was never able to get another film up. Did
Mm.
you know him well over the years, and was that sort of not through lack of trying?
Oh yeah, we tried hard. I knew Sandy before the film. Obviously, we were all actors together, and we acted in various shows together. And then he said, "I've got this film uh, that I'm putting up." He co-wrote the film and produced by David Hanay, who was a mate of mine as well. And David actually got into the business through me. And I wrote a film years ago, and David was got a job through me on that as a producer, and went on and never forgot to tell me that he was here because of me. He always
Mm.
told me that, which was nice of him. But no, I didn't know that. I mean, I didn't remember it coming from a television series. I did read that in my research actually, but I didn't know that. I thought Sandy just wrote it out of the blue because he loved motorbikes. He had his own motorbike, and he loved riding motorbikes. And it was certainly a good film. A little bit boring in places when you see the finished product, but all films I've ever done have had something wrong with them. They're not 100% perfect, but that one would work well. And I thought Sandy did a damn good job with it, and particularly writing, directing, and starring. It's a pretty major job. But you were saying, did I know that he couldn't get another film up? Yes, he did try, and he did raise money for that one, the first one,
Mm.
from the Australian Film Commission, and they gave him nearly well the whole budget. Now that film made over $1 million in return. Only cost about 180,000 to make, so it made 10%. But judging by what it made in those days, it's now about 15 million that it would have made. So Sandy did make some money out of it.
Mm.
But the fact is, he did try and make other films. And he said to me not long ago, 2 or 3 years ago, he said, "I've written another film called Rock, whereas this one's called Stone. This was called Rock." And there were other films he tried to get up in the middle, but he said Rock is the one. He said it'll be about a rock band, and I want you and Hugh in it, and so on, as roadies. And
Mm.
but he said I sent it to a young director, and he said he didn't even answer my call. He didn't even answer my call. Sandy just couldn't believe that someone would not
Mm.
return his call. Join the club. That's
Oh
but
well,
that, so
I
he,
hope that script is still floating around because someone needs to get hold of it, just as a legacy and a tribute.
yeah, well that's right. Well, actually, there is a script here that I've got hold of. Uh, Welcome to Hell. I don't know if you read it. Welcome
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Hell. Yeah, quite a thick one. And I met this guy at Sandy's funeral, and he's from Queensland. He's a biker, and he's written a script. It's about 270 pages. It's far too long, which I've tried to tell him. He won't listen to me. But Sandy did authorize this on his deathbed virtually. This guy went and saw Sandy, and Sandy normally wouldn't allow anybody to write another film about Stone. And he always
Mm.
said, "No, I've sold the rights. Forget it. You can't come to me about it." He actually did sell the rights to the name.
Mm.
But this guy apparently was authorized by Sandy to write it, and David and I loved it. So he says. I don't know. Both are gone. Both are gone now.
Yeah.
But this guy's a Queensland guy, and I got on the bandwagon for it. And I said, "It's too long, mate. We've got to condense it down." And he wouldn't listen to reason. So I've left it go, let it go. But it is about the bikie scene,
Yeah.
two generations. And as I say, Sandy authorised it, but I don't think it'll ever be made. No.
Yeah. What a shame. Do
Mm.
you reckon the movie Stone defined the type of characters that you would play over the years?
No, it didn't define my type of character. No, I've played a great diversity of characters. Like, for instance, I was playing Hooks in the daytime, and I was working on the theatre at night with a dinner suit on. So um, I'm very diversifiable in my work. And no, it hasn't. But I did do what I could do to make that character of interest.
Mm.
Like I did certain things with that character that wasn't in the script. And the hat, for instance, I bought, the gloves I wore, various parts of my clothing I created. So I create my characters to suit me. And I remember David Hannay said to me once, he said, if you never ever make another film, that scene of the card playing with you stealing cards, playing strip jack naked,
Hmm.
will live on in memory. He said, you can be proud of that scene if you never ever make another film. It was nice of David to say that, but I've done a lot of, not bragging, but I've done a lot of good performances in mediocre and good films. But no one seems to take any notice. They just accept the fact that, oh, Wardy's doing his thing, and so I'm just a working actor and do what I can do with the material.
Oh, mate, you have an incredible legacy as far as I'm concerned. And even before Mad Max was made, you had made like The Irishman and Mad Dog Morgan, Man from Hong Kong, Death Cheaters. Like, you were really hot stuff in those days. And I think then Mad Max came along and just set you on fire. It was fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. I'm lucky, as I say, in my not my choice. I've been chosen to do those films. I've never turned a film down in my life.
Mm,
Uh, but I was lucky to have those particular roles, or I was lucky to be allowed to do my own interpretation of
yeah.
those roles to make them a little more interesting than maybe they were written.
And so
Uh,
much of Stone found its way into Mad Max, including cast members, but also just themes and sort of the way it looks, style, and all that stuff. What was the
yeah.
sentiment around the time Mad Max came out about that? Was there any kind of feeling that it was sort of borrowing or
No,
no no?
not that I knew of. No, I never gave it a thought actually, despite the fact that Vince Gill was in it and Hugh Keays-Byrne was in it.
Yeah,
Uh, David Brax was in it. We were all in Stone, but I never gave it a thought. See, Mad Max was mostly about cars.
yeah,
It was a car film, although the bikers were there, of course, but the bikers were there in persona, not necessarily the bikes weren't as much a persona of the film as they were in Stone. But it was a car movie, really, as far as I'm concerned. But I do get the connotation, and it's similar, but it's not the same.
yeah. I guess that probably came from some of the marketing when Stone got re-released. Was you've seen Mad Max, now see Stone. It's probably what's done it.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. What was it? Yeah, first you saw Stone. Now, yeah, yeah, yes.
yeah,
I didn't really twig the two, but of course I was a bit not greedy, but I was just jumping from one film to the other, counting the money for this film as I'm doing it, and then counting the money for the next one. So I just sort of was, thinking, when's this one finish? I've got to start another. It was because it was during the 10BA, the tax concession. You remember that 10BA taxing system where everybody could make, people with money could put money into a film and get
yeah,
150% back. Yeah. So people were pouring money into films. They didn't care what the script was. They just
yeah.
wanted to put their 150% in and get enough. Well, we were similar as actors. We were similar, saying, "Oh wow, there's another film coming up. I've got one next week, and then the following week." So we didn't really care.
Yeah.
It wasn't till 20, 30 years later that I thought, God, I wish I took more notice. Like I said to you a while ago, I don't remember. It was 72 or 73 that I made the film. My
Yeah.
my diaries are in the shed, and I said to my wife today, I really should go down and find my 1972, 1973 diary and just see when it was made, because it's just a blur. All those films are just a blur. And
Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic. Before I move away from Mad Max, I just need to ask you just who was responsible for your wardrobe in that film, because that is a thing of beauty.
Mad Max wardrobe,
Yeah. The leather
yeah,
pants, the scarf around the neck,
uh,
fantastic.
yeah. Well, the leather pants and the jacket were from Miller, but
Yeah.
I decided when I found out I was doing a bare top scene, when I had to take my top off, I thought, it looks a bit bare. So I went to a friend of mine, a female friend. She was a machinist, and I got her to make me that big black scarf. And that was that was what gave me that persona. But of course, with the leather pants and the black flowing scarf and the little watering bottle, everybody started to talk about camp, big bear. I didn't give that a thought either. But all the bears in town were loving Fifi. They thought Fifi is wonderful, and I didn't even give that a thought. I just thought I only wore the scarf to cover the barrenness of the chest.
Oh mate, it's iconic, and I say that respectfully. Like I absolutely adore it. It's such a striking image in in that movie.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. Yeah, well, I always try and make some scenario in a film to make it a little better than it could be or was or will be. But I just do these things spontaneously, and I remember years ago when I was a youngster, I was doing a play on stage, playing a millionaire, a miserly millionaire, and I said to my mother, "Would you cut the back out of my shirt and tape it so that it's all straggly with no like a shirt, but
Mm.
when I turn my back on the audience, I've got a great big hole in my shirt." And it was a comedy, luckily, and it was pretty corny, but I was this miserly millionaire guy, and suddenly through the play, I took my coat off and turned with my back to the audience, and there was this shirt with all shattered edges and everything. And the audience just roared with laughter. They got the message. They understood that this old miser wouldn't even buy a new shirt, but they got the message. So I've always tried to do something in my
Yeah.
scenarios to, yeah,
Where
to
does
lift
where
it.
does where does Stone sit for you amongst sort of your body of work? Is it right up there for you?
No, it's not really. I was only saying to my wife today, I wrote a biography some years ago, and never did anything with it. And I went through trying to find it today to find my references to Stone so that I have some information for you. And
Yeah.
there's no mention of Stone in the damn thing. So that's how much it influenced me.
Well,
So
that will come to as a surprise for a lot of people.
yeah, well, I mean, to me, it wasn't an outstanding film. A Man from Hong Kong for me was a breakthrough. Mad Max was a breakthrough. Irishman was not. A lot of them weren't,
Mm.
but there were a lot that were. So, but Stone didn't turn me on greatly because I don't know. I didn't particularly like the character as much as I could have. I mean, I felt that he was a bit too clean. The reason I was clean was because I was working in the theatre at night. I couldn't
Yeah.
be scraggly. I couldn't grow a beard. Couldn't have a proper pierced ear. So I didn't really, or I wasn't able to create the character that I really wanted to create. But subconsciously, I must have pushed it out of my mind to hardly mention it, or can't even find a reference of it in my biography.
Oh mate. Well, looking back over your career, do you have a particular favorite film that you've made?
No, I get asked that a lot. There's none of my films that I like 100%.
Yeah.
Some of the films like I like Mad Max. I like performances in Mad Max, although Mad Max has its failures in there as a film itself. It has its failures. Mad from Hong Kong the same. I like my performance in there, but to see the whole film, it's a bit of a oh god, that bit boring. So every film I've ever done has always got something wrong. So I can't say that I love all my films. I love most of my performances though, but
Yeah.
I do. I've got to the stage now where I pretty well know what I'm going to look like. But in the early days, I had no idea, and I used to be quite embarrassed when I saw my earlier television stuff played back. I'm, oh my god, what am I doing? What? So, but now I get to the stage where I do know technically what I'm doing and so on.
Well, I also say this respectfully, but you will always be the kitten chef from Young Einstein to me.
Yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah, there you go. That's a funny film. That one. Yes, funnily enough, I was doing another film with a children's film, a pirate film, and I was playing a pirate. And I got the call to go and see Young Einstein guy, Yahoo Serious.
Yeah.
And he said, "Would you come in and have a chat?" Well, I went straight from the filming of that with full makeup on, and I forgot. I mean, I sort of. I turned up with all this brown makeup on, looked like suntan. He said, "My God, you've got a great suntan." And I said, "Oh my God, I've got makeup on." So I didn't say anything. I just let him think I had a good suntan. But that was another unusual role. That one, yeah.
For
Yeah, that's
sure,
right.
for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I do love that performance. It's probably the first time when I was a child that I understood who you were. Like it's what put you on my radar, and from then, the rest is
Yeah,
history for sure. But
yeah, that's
well,
great.
Roger, it's only been a short time today, but damn, it's been a fun time. I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and talk.
Okay, Glenn, it was lovely to do it. Yeah, thanks very much, mate. Appreciate it
Thank
very
you.
much.
Stone is a trip. And when you're on a bike, I mean a big bike, you've got all power Gravediggers are on the move. A new breed of motorbike gang.
That's why we're here, man, together. Because when you're out there riding, man, with the Gravediggers, what can stop us, man? What can stop us? We own the world.
They live in a fortress by the sea. Vietnam veterans. With their own style of life. Their own rules. Their own religion.
Look at me when I strike the ass.
They don't seem to make a lot of friends. But now, somebody wants them dead. All of them. So the cops sent Stone.
He's a pig.
Yeah, that's right, I'm a cop. I've been sent to find out who's been killing your mates.
Why would you want to know that?
That's the way I earn my living.
The whole reason we're outlaws is because we're against pigs. And everything a pig is. So how are we going to do our thing with you pigging around us?
Ken Shorter is Stone, working undercover on a deadly mission. Sandy Harbutt is the undertaker, leader of the Gravediggers.
Your law sends young blokes to somebody else's country to fight people they know nothing about. As long as you keep on shooting them, they hang medals on you. When you don't shoot them anymore, they shut you in jail.
The cop and the bike gang. Two lifestyles clash in a suspense thriller you cannot predict.
What's the score, man? You got a pro after you.
Go on, man. Look, man, I didn't want any trouble.
Well, why don't you do something honest, like sell used cars to old ladies?
I'll kill you.
You think we're a pack of imbeciles, don't you?
I'll kill you!
Stone is different. Take the trip.